Long before the pyramids of Egypt, before Greece and Rome, there was Sumer, the world's very first known civilization. Over 5,000 years ago, in the fertile land of Mesopotamia, the Sumerians laid the foundation of human history as we know it. The Sumerians settled between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, in what is now modern-day Iraq. By 3100 BC, they had built great city-states like Ur, Uruk, and Eridu. These cities weren't just clusters of homes. They had walls, marketplaces, and towering temples known as ziggurats. Sumer became the birthplace of urban life. The story of Sumer is a story of innovation. Faced with the harsh, unpredictable environment of Mesopotamia, the Sumerians didn't just survive, they engineered their world. Their genius gave rise to a cascade of inventions that would not only define their civilization but form the very bedrock of our own. These weren't just clever ideas. They were solutions born from necessity, each one unlocking a new level of human potential. Consider the inventions that put their world in motion. While we picture the wheel on war chariots, its first use was on the potter's wheel, enabling the mass production of pottery and transforming trade. Only later was this concept adapted for transport, with solid wooden wheels on carts shrinking distances across the land. On the great rivers, the Tigris and Euphrates, they harnessed the wind. By inventing the square sail for their reed boats, they were no longer at the mercy of the current and could travel upstream, opening vast trade routes. But their most vital engineering feat was mastering water. To tame violent floods and cultivate arid land, they constructed intricate networks of irrigation canals and dikes. This colossal undertaking created a stable food surplus, the foundation that allowed the world's first cities to rise. With a surplus of goods came the need to track them, leading to their most famous contribution: writing. It began as simple pictograms for accounting, but evolved into a sophisticated system of wedge-shaped marks, known as cuneiform. Using a reed stylus on wet clay, scribes created permanent records of everything: trade transactions, legal codes, royal decrees, and even student exercises. It is through cuneiform that we can read the Epic of Gilgamesh, one of humanity's first great literary works, a profound tale of kings, gods, and the search for immortality. This script was the memory of their civilization, preserving their knowledge and stories for millennia. This intellectual explosion was powered by a unique system of mathematics. The Sumerians developed a sexagesimal, or base 60 number system. Its legacy is woven into our daily lives every time we look at a clock: 60 seconds in a minute, 60 minutes in an hour, and measure a circle in 360 degrees. This system was incredibly practical, used for calculating taxes, surveying land, and designing monumental buildings. From the tops of their ziggurats, priest astronomers scanned the heavens. They meticulously charted the movements of stars and planets, which they saw as divine omens. This celestial observation allowed them to create a precise lunar calendar, essential for timing agricultural cycles and religious festivals, ensuring the continued prosperity of their land. If you love uncovering the origins of ancient civilizations, make sure to subscribe now so you never miss a journey into history's greatest mysteries. For the people of Sumer, the universe was a divinely orchestrated drama. They believed a powerful pantheon of gods, the Anunnaki, controlled every aspect of existence. From the flooding of the rivers to success in battle, every event was an expression of divine will. Key figures included Enlil, the formidable god of storms; Enki, the wise god of water and creation who fashioned humanity from clay; and the powerful Inanna, goddess of love and war. The Sumerians saw themselves not as masters of their destiny, but as servants created for a single purpose: to toil on behalf of these powerful and often unpredictable cosmic rulers. Life was an act of constant service and appeasement, a negotiation with the forces that governed their world. This belief was physically manifested in the heart of every city. Each city-state was dedicated to a patron deity, considered its true sovereign, with the human king acting merely as a steward. To honor this divine ruler, the Sumerians constructed the iconic ziggurats. These were not simple temples, but colossal, stepped pyramids of mud brick, designed as artificial mountains connecting the terrestrial and celestial realms. At the summit, a shrine served as the god's earthly home, a sacred space where the divine could descend. The ziggurat was the city's spiritual, administrative, and economic nucleus, a towering reminder of who was truly in charge. Mediating this crucial relationship was a highly organized and influential priesthood. Priests and priestesses were far more than spiritual guides. They were the intellectual and administrative elite. They managed the temple's vast agricultural lands, collected tithes, and effectively ran the city's economy. They were also the scholars and astronomers, meticulously observing the stars for omens. Inside dim sanctuaries, they would consult the patterns in sheep livers or the smoke from incense to divine the future and understand the gods' intentions. Their pronouncements, recorded in cuneiform, shaped everything from state policy to daily life, making them the true power brokers of Sumerian society. This worldview also gave birth to a rich tapestry of myths. Their stories, of creation from chaos, a great flood sent to wipe out humanity, and heroic kings like Gilgamesh searching for immortality, were foundational. These weren't just tales, they were complex explorations of justice, mortality, and the human condition. Their influence was profound. As Sumerian culture was absorbed by successive empires, their myths were adopted and adapted by the Akkadians and Babylonians. Echoes of these ancient narratives can be traced even further, resonating in the foundational stories of later cultures, including the flood account in the Hebrew Bible, a testament to the lasting power of the world's first written stories. Imagine walking the streets of a Sumerian city like Uruk. Life was bustling, a complex tapestry woven from innovation and ambition. The air was thick with the smell of baking bread, the dust from passing donkey carts, and the murmur of 1,000 conversations. From the towering ziggurat at the city's heart to the labyrinthine alleyways below, society was organizing itself in ways previously unimaginable, creating the very template for urban living. This was a world of priests and scribes, merchants and farmers, artisans and soldiers, all playing their part in a revolutionary new experiment. The foundation of this civilization was the rich soil of Mesopotamia, tamed by ingenuity. Farmers, the backbone of society, engineered their environment, digging intricate networks of canals to channel the waters of the Tigris and Euphrates. They cultivated vast surpluses of barley and wheat, along with dates and vegetables. They pioneered the seed plow, a revolutionary tool that dramatically increased crop yields. This agricultural success was the engine that powered every other aspect of Sumerian life, freeing people to pursue other trades. This abundance fueled a boom in craftsmanship and trade. In crowded workshops, artisans transformed raw materials into objects of utility and beauty. Potters used the newly invented potter's wheel to mass-produce standardized bowls and jars. Metalsmiths became masters of bronze, combining imported copper and tin to forge durable tools and weapons. Meanwhile, merchants loaded reed boats with grain and textiles, navigating rivers into the Persian Gulf. They returned with precious resources Sumer lacked: stone, timber, and coveted lapis lazuli. But this prosperity came at a price. The very resources that allowed cities to flourish, water and fertile land, became sources of bitter conflict. Sumer was a collection of fiercely independent city-states, each ruled by a king, or lugal, who acted as war chief and high priest. These rulers commanded disciplined armies of spearmen in tight formations and deployed heavy four-wheeled war chariots pulled by onagers. Monuments like the stele of the vultures were carved to immortalize their victories and justify their brutal wars over borders and canals. This interplay of cooperation and conflict defined daily life. The Sumerians were grappling with the fundamental questions of civilization for the first time: how to manage shared resources, organize a diverse society, and balance power. In many ways, the struggles of ancient Sumer, from managing water rights to navigating complex trade deals and interstate rivalries, are not relics of a distant past. They are the foundational challenges that echo in the complexities of our own modern world. By 2000 BC, invasions, internal conflicts, and shifting powers brought Sumer's dominance to an end. Yet its legacy lived on, adopted and expanded by the Babylonians, Assyrians, and countless cultures after them. Without Sumer, the story of civilization itself might have looked very different. So, next time you write, calculate, or simply watch the clock, remember, you're living with the gifts of the world's first civilization, the Sumerians.